back to Mana Clash. Team Trios Highlander here. It's been good. We're one round in. We're up to round 2 now, and we've got everyone's favourite deck, Grixis. There's 5 of them up in the feature match area.
Yeah.
And we're going to watch 2 of them, 2 of the best players in the room, absolutely. Playing in a 74-card mirror. We've got 2 bus stop teams. Team Tramstop, Melbourne's conglomerate of bus stop players. Yeah. The bus stop cinematic universe. So we'll jump down to the table now. On one side, James Larsen-Scott. He'll be on the left of your screen, coming off a top 8 yesterday with this deck. And on the right, Matthew Giudes, Pro Tour player. 2 very strong players here. Looks like a Brainstorm on turn 1 from Matthew Giudes. Inquisition from James Larsen-Scott. Met by Metal Misstep.
So a lot of cheap spells flying around.
Absolutely. Alec, we've watched a fair bit of Grixis now. What can we expect from the mirror?
A lot of what's going on. A little bit of interaction, turn 1, some spells flying around. A little bit of jockeying of position.
Absolutely. So it'll be a back and forth game, we think.
And just trying to find a window for someone to get ahead.
Now, I know Matthew Giudes currently has 2 green lands in play. Don't be fooled. This is a Grixis deck.
Yeah.
Those green lands there for Deathrite Shaman and also some sideboard cards as well, which we'll get to. But trust me, it's a Grixis deck.
Yeah, and this is a Grixis mirror, as we see the exact same lands. Neither lands on either person's side, telling the whole story.
Both players leading with a pair of Sultai lands, but we know better. We have their deck lists. We know that there are red cards. That's an expressive iteration. There you go. There's a red card. Steam Vents.
So, yeah, Counterspell, not online because of the turn 1 Bayou from JLS. We're going to call James Larsen-Scott JLS because Magic players love their acronyms.
Yes, absolutely. And we can't be bothered saying his full name.
Yeah,
it's far too long. Very greedy to have that many names. 3 names.
3 names. Just stick with 1.
Unless, of course, if Pat wants to start paying us by the word, we'll say his name as many times as he likes.
Yeah, when we're trying to make a word count, it gets different. But right now, JLS has his Psychic Frog discarded.
Looks like, as well, there is an expressive iteration there, so that's powerful.
We're rolling a dice for no reason, having a look at the Marsh Flats again.
There's this bauble there, revealing a card at random.
And that Inquisition goes to the graveyard, buddy.
Matthew already knows every card in James's hand, though, so not a huge deal.
Yeah.
Few different options. I believe that's a Deathrite Shaman as well. Second from the top in the hand of James. Looks like that might be the play this turn.
Yeah.
As we said, that's the reason for all the green lands in these Grixis decks.
It's worth splashing for that activation and also the sideboard.
Yes, and Powerful Strixes will trade off their Steam Vents going to shock in. Carpet of Flowers is a very powerful one. We'll see those in games 2 and 3.
Yep.
I suspect. And we'll just hold up the counterspell now, which Matthew knows about. He's got Island Cycle. Go find Island. Maybe a red island, perhaps. Volcanic Island could be the option here, and it will be getting red mana set up. So both players with all of their colors of mana available now.
Yeah.
Always interesting playing these mirror matches against a teammate. You both know exactly what's in each other's decks. You've played against each other quite a lot in practice, most likely. Adds another layer to the game.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's not just in a testing situation where you're trying to work out stuff, you're trying to beat your opponent. So it'll be interesting if there's any leveling going on. A lot of the times with these sort of friendly mirrors, it gets very casual.
We do see that, yes.
And as we see, points trading off as the Deathrite Shaman trades for the Ragavan. So it's interesting. There comes a point when things like you start off very friendly and jovial, and then there comes a point like, oh wait, I'm winning, or oh wait, I'm losing.
And because, of course, with these matches, extra stakes on the line, not just a match point, but the bragging rights.
For sure. Bragging rights way more important than the 3 match points available.
Emperor of Bones will come down. We've seen this one throughout the weekend. Really powerful. Going to exile that Baleful Strix out of Matthew's graveyard. That one could come back at some point.
And JLS has Counterspell available to him, or the activation of the Emperor of Bones. I think JLS is going to bite here. I think he's going to fetch an Underground Sea and Counterspell his expressive iteration. But a couple of different things he could use for his mana there. Yeah, just can't afford to let the 2-for-1 resolve.
Absolutely. A powerful 2-for-1. Also, a little bit of selection as well. Just a really powerful card advantage spell in these decks full of cheap spells. That is
Yeah.
the requirement of expressive iteration inherently. Is you do need to have a lowish mana curve to be able to play one of the spells that you find. And these Grixis decks fulfill that easily. Looks like it might be JLS's turn now to fire off expressive iteration.
Yeah, this one will resolve.
Duress, a very nice pickup there. Could add another land to his hand, or a lightning bolt for some more interaction.
Yeah, this is exactly what you were talking about. Expressive iteration, looking at two cheap spells and a land. We're going to see Giudes take a Force of Will and leave Matthew Giudes with a Sheldred, which is a very expensive card, very powerful, but could be tricky to try and get this one to resolve.
Yeah, Sheldred absolutely the top end in these Grixis decks. Most expensive creature, alongside Deadpool, of course.
Yeah.
But it is a powerful one that can take over games very quickly if not answered.
It looks like both these players are playing Deadpool, unless if that is the one card they've differed their opinions on. We're going to see a crack fetch of a Sculling Ton. Perhaps JLS is going to activate Emperor of Bones here. Ooh, getting back expressive iteration.
Just cards for more cards, to get more cards, to get more cards, and eventually you'll find a way to win the game. The classic mid-range player.
As we see expressive iteration go on top, Baleful Strix returning to play with a decay counter.
A finality counter.
Finality. I got mixed up. Excuse me. So JLS drawing that card immediately, and a Sheldred is being slammed. Not worried about a Force of Will. May as well jam it if they do have a Force of Will.
Yeah, very quickly into play there. And JLS will dig deeper with this expressive iteration there.
Ooh.
Perfect find. Finds the Fatal Push, finds a Bauble to turn on Revolt. Just the perfect answer there for Sheldred.
And can then... so, yeah, just everything going perfectly for... So the putting the expressive iteration on top of the deck was a very, very good play there.
And hey, in case all of this wasn't enough, there's a dragon too.
Yeah, now there's a huge dragon. But very heads-up play to put an expressive iteration, trusting his deck that he would find an answer. Also looking 3 deep without actually drawing extra cards so the Sheldred wouldn't trigger. Just a heads-up play. He gets to look for an answer, stay ahead. If he finds his answer, just a very winning line and well played by JLS as he wraps it up.
Absolutely. So JLS will take game number 1, that is Team Tram Stop, up a game early on over the Bus Stop cinematic universe. And both players go to sideboards. I'm confident they'll probably sideboard the same.
Yeah.
They both know what's going on.
Actually, let's try and watch them here and see. Well, first of all, they're ordered differently, so they haven't exactly matched up.
Now, one thing that's really interesting is that both players have a price of progress in their sideboard.
But only one of them is getting their sideboard notes out. So, they're going to look at it both together. It's like, what were we doing?
So we see the players there get out their shared sideboard notes, put it down, and just compare notes. Might as well sideboard together. We both know what's going on.
Yeah, and that's just, we appreciate that too, because that speeds up the whole process. No more umming and ahhing, let's just do it. Although...
But if we could get that sheet up a little higher to the camera so we could read it and know how the sideboard, that'd be great as well. If,
Yeah, our card viewfinder does not have Team Bus Stop / Tram Stops sideboard guide.
And unfortunately, my eyesight's not good enough to read that.
Yeah. We've got a beautiful setup here. Unfortunately, 1080p, 4K, it's just a little too far away.
Limitations. I do enjoy that I can recognize at the top of that sheet, that is the Canberra bus stop, the iconic bus stop shelters, after which the team is named.
There we go.
Hence
That's what I say about bus stops in Canberra. Iconic.
Absolutely. I believe the story behind the team naming is originally a Canberra-based team. They said, what will we name the team after? Well, it should be something iconic to Canberra. And this was the best they could come up with.
Yeah, go to Canberra. They've got great bus stops.
Absolutely. I do enjoy,
Cultural wasteland.
The team on the left there, JLS's team, all Melbourne-based players who are a part of Team Bus Stop. So they decided, how will we name our team? Well, what's Melbourne well known for?
Tram stops.
Tram stops.
Yeah.
Tram stops. A nice little
Ignore-
variation.
Oh, the team, we've got better coffee than the other states.
It really should have been Team Coffee Stop.
Yeah, but it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue.
Okay, so then what would we name the other bus stop contingents from other cities?
Team
Casino Stop for Brisbane?
Yeah, team lockout laws.
Yeah, exactly.
Team not a
Team
walkable-
Ferry Stop
Ferry stop.
for Sydney, because they have the ferries across the harbour.
Oh yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Team, man, fey creatures of the wild on your bus stop.
And there's no one from Perth, so that's all right.
Yeah.
We went.
Team far away from everything.
Adelaide, team Winery Stop.
Yeah, team winos. Team wine tour.
Team Wine Tour, yeah. Yeah. Like team bike rack, but specifically like the bike racks you get at wineries. So there's like bike riding tours, which I always think must be so difficult because after
Yeah.
like the second winery, I don't want to have to ride to the next one.
Yeah. At some point, you'd be forgiven for going like, let's just stay here.
Yeah, this one's good.
This one's good.
After this many wines, they all kind of taste the same anyway, so this one will do.
Why are we leaving a place with wine to go to a different place with wine where we could stay with wine?
Exactly.
I've never
Exactly.
been on a wine tour.
I mean, neither.
Yeah.
But
I spend too much time playing Magic the Gathering.
yeah, all my money goes on fancy trading cards instead.
Yeah.
So as the players shuffle up here, so a couple interesting cards from the sideboard. Obviously, Carpented Flowers. We talked about that one. Red Blasts from both players. Those are the big hitters. Could see a Colligon's Command, perhaps, as a grindy 2-for-1.
JLS is going to look at his hand. It looks like some powerful stuff. Land Light, perhaps. Matthew Giudes going to have a little mulligan here. There's a lot of banter going on across the tables. All 6 players here, good friends with each other. So-
Absolutely. Bragging rights on the table, as they always are in intra-team matches.
Yeah, this is really important. This is as important as the finals to these guys.
I mean, frankly, one of these teams could go on to win the whole event, but if they lose this match,
Yeah.
that's all they'll hear about for the next 6 months.
Yeah, especially if there's like a savage misplay going on. Or,
Oh yeah, and especially if it's on camera.
yeah.
This lives forever. This is on the internet. There's no scrubbing it.
It'd be so rude to scrub this. We lost. Can you scrub that, please?
Can we delete that round actually?
Yeah.
Hey, I said something stupid. Could we maybe just get rid of the audio on that match? Maybe.
Yeah. Giudes on the play has a mulligan. Looks like a bunch of shiny cards in hand, so he's happy to keep.
He's employing the rare blind your opponent with bling strategy.
Yeah.
My opponent won't know what my cards do if they're so shiny they can't read them.
Yeah, gonna need to get some sunglasses to look at my stuff, baby.
So we'll take a look at the top card of James's library,
Yeah.
then fetch a land. So a turn 1 play coming up here.
No foil Underground Sea yet.
Yes.
It's on the reserve list, but maybe there'll be a foil reprinting soon. You never
I'd like
know.
to see someone make their own foil. Just like sprinkle some glitter on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an inner sleeve. You could.
Yeah.
I want a glittered inner sleeve actually that I can put over my Underground Sea.
Yeah, that'd be very funny.
So turn 1 thoughts is here from Matthew. We'll take a look at the hand. Only 1 land, but there is a brainstorm to fix it, and some powerful threats. Barragoyf, Tameo, Shieldred. Baleful Strix, just a good card, and Unholy Heat as well as a bit of an answer. What would you take here?
You'd be very tempted to take the brainstorm as like the sort of step 1 to fixing this mana situation.
You know, I think this question really reveals what sort of a player you are, because Tameo was the other option as a powerful turn 1 threat. But I appreciate your instinct to say, I don't want to play Magic. I'd like
Yeah.
my opponent to be stuck on 1 land.
That said, the games do go long, and going for the mana screw option might have diminishing returns.
Of course, Matthew as well knew what we did not, which was that
Yes.
there was a second land on top, which makes
Yeah.
the brainstorm look much worse to take.
Yeah. Brainstorm's still a very powerful card.
Absolutely. But not pointed.
Not quite. But yeah, if you can have an opportunity to trade with points, you tend to do so. But right now, a brainstorm of Matthew's own. Going to go on the stack.
That one is foil.
Yes.
Foil count 4 out of 5.
Yeah, every non revised card that Matthew Giudes has cast has been very shiny. Yeah.
A lot of options here. So it looks like Island, Mystic Sanctuary.
Mystic Sanctuary probably
land.
getting out of here.
I believe that's a discard spell down the bottom. A Tasiga in the old frame. And that bottom card.
Oh, that's a Misty Rainforest. So this can be a perfect brainstorm.
Yeah, beautiful. Gets to shuffle away the 2 cards. He doesn't want having put them back. James, on the other hand, going to go find a Surveil land, holding on to that brainstorm.
Yep.
No, in no rush to cast it.
Yeah, happy to get a Surveil going here. Little more information on the draws. I'm not sure what JLS will be looking for. Not a Mishra's Bauble, we know that now. Deathrat Shaman was probably exactly what the doctor ordered.
It's a pretty good one. Could see that. Could also just see the Baleful Strix come down. Always, it's just always good value in these matchups, really. It's an annoying body. It draws a card as it comes in, so what more could you want?
So it'll be a question if JLS wants to go counterspell hunting, start tapping out for stuff. Interesting. He could have a very neat play of Brainstorm into... could go Brainstorm into Deathrat Shaman, would run into a Mental Misstep.
Yeah, a few different options here, and this is where that Thoughtseize is really valuable, not only for the card it took, but also just for the information. Matthew gets to plan his turns out, knowing the large majority of James's hand, whereas James has to just try and guess at what might be in Matthew's hand. He can take an educated guess. You know, you can speculate on the range of capable hands. Unlikely that Matthew has no interaction. Unlikely that he has no threats. But the exact specifics, James can't know.
Yeah. So we're going to see a fetch land being cracked pre-Brainstorm, as we're going to see a Baleful Strix hit the stack.
Just trying to continue to accumulate raw cards. I believe that's a Colligon's command in Matthew's hand.
So it could kill the Baleful Strix any way it wants.
Yeah, a couple different ways. Shock, shatter, different options. Just more 2-for-1s. That's what we're sort of starting to see. These decks are composed of efficient threats, efficient interaction, and then we start to see the value of these grindy 2-for-1s in Baleful Strix, Colligon's command, Expressive Iteration really starring in that first game.
Barrow Goif when it connects, just like 2-for-1s on 2-for-1s.
Absolutely. So, but then also game-ending threats that can go the whole way themselves in the form of Shieldred.
Yeah, Shieldred and
Murktide Regent, the same.
Regent, yeah. Ooh, that is a Dragon's Rage channeler. The draw. See that?
For a second I was worried. I thought that island was non-foil. But no, it is foil.
It's got to be foil, don't worry about that. As we're delving the whole graveyard, leaving up an island.
So that Dragon's Rage channeler, briefly delirious, but then comes back to its senses.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Tasiga.
So JLS has drawn a... Is that a Steam Fence or the Surveil land?
I believe that might be a Thundering Falls, but we'll find out shortly. Or maybe we won't. Maybe it'll get shuffled away. And
JLS is going to have his Brainstorm met with a Spell Pierce?
I believe that's a Mental Misstep.
Tap mana for it.
Well, you can tap mana for Mental Misstep.
That's true.
You are allowed to.
But I believe the Mental Misstep is a different art. I want to wager it's a Spell Pierce, partially because I could sort of read it if I lean closer. It's a Thundering Falls as the land drop for JLS, and a pass back. And we're going to cycle a Lorien Revealed.
Just continuing to hit land drops here, important.
Yeah, the secret city in the forest being shown.
So Unholy Heat there, a nice answer to Tasiga, dealing 6 damage.
I bet you it's a Spell Pierce. It's a bit hard to tell now.
I think you might be right.
Oh, how did you do that? Sorry, I'm commentating now on what Ian is typing.
Meanwhile,
and
back in the game here, so that
yeah, there's a game going on.
Powerful Strix and Dragon's Rage Channeler will trade. James taking a look at the graveyard. That's never a good feeling if you're playing and your opponent asks to look at your graveyard.
Yeah.
Never feels good.
Yeah, it's scary. Although Emperor of Bones, weirdly not the scariest. It's pretty good still, but
It's still good.
We're going to see a Ponder kick it off. This cantrip resolves. A very neat 3 cards. I saw a Corey Steel Cutter, a Fatal Push, I believe, and is that a land? Yeah, that's a Spell Pierce. It was. I was right. Haha.
You're right. That's a Secret Lair Showdown Spell Pierce. I have to admit, I've never seen one of those before.
As a Steam Vents enters play and then casts a Barrogoyf. Barrogoyf, really awesome card, and it's great. Got a great text box that now. That awesome text box is now, and that's right. So the Deadpool is a 5/3 with how does this work?
So the way this works.
Yeah, I don't know how this will work.
That's a great question.
So what is a text box?
I believe the parent toughness gets
we
swapped?
shouldn't be looking at Deadpool trading card. We should be looking at what Deadpool trading card is, which is a Barrogoyf. And yeah, wow, I'm actually at a loss. So Barrogoyf's text box reads, well, it's got a lot of text on it.
It's got a lot of text on it.
But whether or not the parent toughness thing...
I believe the parent toughness thing in the... But, you know, we'll find out when they go to combat.
Yeah.
So Emperor of Bones going to exile Baleful Strix there. Getting a Monk from Corey Steelcutter down the bottom.
Okay, so I guess the... But how does that work with the 5/3-ness?
I believe that ability will work. So I believe that Deadpool... And we see Matthew checking his graveyard here. Yeah, so Deadpool will have the parent toughness as if it was a Barrogoyf.
Yeah.
I don't know what the parent toughness of the Barrogoyf is, though.
Barrogoyf would be a 0-1. Right? Because now it's a star +1 with the text of Deadpool trading card on it.
Perhaps.
I think.
Looks like we're going to see another Delve spell here, a Murktide Regent coming down for Matthew Giudes.
So Matthew just resolving some haymakers now.
Absolutely.
One haymaker I don't really know what is going on with, but I do know a Murktide Regent, and that's a 5/5.
And most importantly, the Barrogoyf as well, dealing 3 to James every turn that it sits in play.
It's 0-1, we believe. Also, Deadpool has Death Touch and Lifelink, and has a trigger when it attacks.
And important to note here, so the Murktide Regent, a very threatening card, but for the moment, James is tenuously holding on to Baleful Strix under Emperor of Bones. So if the Murktide Regent attacks, he could try to bring that back into play. But tenuous, because of course, if the Emperor of Bones ever leaves play, suddenly that option is gone to him.
Yeah. And JLS would love to be casting a Sheoldred, start putting some haymakers of his own into play. However, a little choked on black mana.
It's only 1 black mana and wants to keep that up for the aforementioned Emperor of Bones play. So can't even deploy his Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, can't really... Or if that Emperor of Bones gets removed, then he can cast Fatal Push, Corey Steelcutter hitting play. This is a Corey Steelcutter mirror.
This is a 74-card mirror. And I looked it up.
Yeah.
The difference? A fetch land.
1 fetch land.
There is an Arid Mesa in Matthew's deck and some other fetch land in James's.
That seems like it's not correct. So what happens now to... Oh, the Barrogoyf is gone. That's a... Barrogoyf being gone makes this a lot easier for us all. Because I don't know, does it go back to being a Barrogoyf with Deadpool gone?
It stays... No, it stays swapped.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so in the end of turn there, James did sacrifice Barrogoyf there using the Deadpool ability.
Yeah.
Lets Matthew draw a card, but that does turn on his Revolt for Fatal Push.
So getting to cast a black spell at the huge cost of sacrificing a Zoe creature and giving Matthew a card. A Preordain the Draw. Sort of exactly what he needs.
And now, of course, with the Emperor of Bones gone, as Matthew took the opportunity to resolve Dismember. Which member? Dismember.
Which one?
Now, that Murktide Regent is free to soar through the skies and start taking huge chunks out of JLS's life total.
And that Dismember triggering Matthew's own Corey Steel Cutter.
Yes, absolutely. Heads up play there from Matthew. Looks like Jones has found one card he likes, potentially an answer to the Murktide Regent. There aren't too many answers to Murktide Regent in these decks.
Yeah.
A land instead.
That might be a Sheldred time. That could swing the game.
That absolutely could swing the game, start to try and race back. We'll also give James another monk as well to try and fight off Matthew's monks.
So now, this match is really interesting. Low resources for JLS. Has a Deathrite Shaman, which is not the most exciting play at this point in the game. Matthew Guards has a Carpet of Flowers.
Currently not castable.
Yeah, not castable, and only has one other card, so we might just be seeing an equip of the Corey Steel Cutter to the Murktide Regent attack, equip back to the token, which you would have to be ecstatic with if you were JLS.
Absolutely.
Although
So
I'm not
6
sure about
damage coming through in the air, sending James down to 3 life, and that is...
Dorothy Voidwalker, so a lot of pressure.
And that Dorothy Voidwalker, almost threatening lethal, almost. The life from Sheldred will bring James back up to 5. So now an answer to the Murktide Regent would buy him another turn, but looks like just a Thoughtseize and a Deathrite Shaman in hand.
So Thoughtseize is a very awkward spell to try and trigger a Corey Steel Cutter, just because 2 life, no good,
2
very
life,
bad.
very significant here. Matthew has pushed through that Murktide Regent, a dominating threat. If it can't be answered, ends the game very quickly, and we might soon be headed to...
Although, is this lethal, perhaps? Thoughtseize, it might be... JLS might be looking at lethal here. Dorothy Voidwalker, not very good at blocking. Couple of Flowers down, can't cast that anyway. Thoughtseize go in the exile with a Void counter. And then now a Deathrite Shaman, get another dude.
So it'll be 3 2/2s plus the Sheldred attacking, so an attack for 6.
And Sheldred, Trample Death Touch, he's thinking about whether or not he wants to do that. Trample Death Touch, very good.
But that would give a 5 power Sheldred, plus only 2 of the monks could attack then, attacking for 2 each.
Yeah.
So blocking on the monk, take 2 from the other monk, 5 from the Sheldred, down to 3. And then 2 more in the draw step.
Which is just not enough.
Very, very close.
Yep, we're going to see an equip. Oh, no, yes. Or are we going to see... And JLS has tapped the Bayou there, so he couldn't have equipped to the Deathrite Shaman. Couldn't have equipped to the Deathrite Shaman, and then... So I think... I'm not sure what happened there. Was that lethal?
I believe that was James falling slightly short as the players continue to shuffle up here. They're not decideboarding, so that says to me, we got a game 3.
Is that game 3? Yeah.
Heading to game 3 there. Matthew Giudes evens it up against his teammate, James Larsen-Scott.
Yeah. JLS so close, but no cigar there.
Yeah, all the way down to 1. Almost managed to race against the Sheldred there.
Wow, what a game.
Yeah, fantastic game. We got to see Deadpool there. Another Universes Beyond card.
Yeah.
And as our resident Universes Beyond expert, you got any fun facts for me about the Deadpool franchise?
I do have a fun fact about Deadpool. Now, it is often said that Deadpool is a copy of so it's a Marvel character, a copy of the DC character Deathstroke. Even though they look really different and are nothing alike.
I have to say, as someone who knows nothing about Deadpool, other than the card text,
Yeah.
I can't tell if that's real or not.
No, that's a.
You're very convincing.
No, that's a real. That's a real thing. I think one's copying the other, but they're also very different superheroes. But apparently, just like, but also Deadpool, very fourth wall breaking character, often jokes about copying it. But again, it's just like they're so different characters.
I'm not sure that it's copying them. Like, it's kind of like if I played a clone, but it said, Enders is a copy of a creature, except you get to change, redistribute the power and toughness and give it a keyword and...
Yeah, dramatically change, like, everything
it's
about it.
It's not really a copy then.
But that's sort of the inside joke thing.
Right.
But Deadpool, very much a fourth wall breaking card.
As we see our players there, the whole team still playing the matchup at the top of Grixis Mirror. And we've jumped down the bottom here for a little bit of a live look-in. This is Ben Tudman on the right-hand side. He's playing Eldrazi. He's on the team of James Larsen-Scott. And on the left-hand side, we've got Stephen. He'll be playing Grixis. He's on the All Grixis Bus Stop team, the Bus Stop Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, so this is still getting some Grixis.
Still Grixis, but
don't worry, guys.
We found the one non-Grixis player, and we've put them on.
I think there
they are down the bottom,
there we go.
Just getting started. But it looks like we're going back to our main feature match as they have drawn their sevens. They're resolving mulligans. We'll head back there.
Here we go. We got a different shuffle cam going on.
Quickly into the action now.
Yeah. But there's evidence that there is not just 6 Grixis decks going on. There you go. Now you have proof.
We could hear the chat yelling out as we put more Grixis on.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite deck, and we just wanted to show you, no, there are other decks as well.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to see these mirrors from two very good players who both know their decks intimately. They know each other quite well, and we get to see high-level Magic back and forth.
Yeah. Games 1 and 2, very interesting, and now we've got a beautiful game 3 coming up. A Delty Voidwalker prompting a response there. Don't want to leave that wooded foothills in the void, exile with the void counter. We want that in the graveyard.
And it does matter for these decks. They have delve cards.
Yeah, it does.
They have things that care about the graveyard, so do want to make sure that gets into the graveyard as well. James striking first hit on the play, has the first threat. Neither player with a turn 1 play, so maybe settling in for a slightly longer game.
Although we could see it's on the stack. We're going to have a little exile of the graveyard with a Cling to Dust.
That one you definitely want to get in the graveyard before the Delty Voidwalker hits play.
Yeah. So 2 spells in graveyard for Matthew Giudes, as we see a Molten Collapse. Just a 1-for-1, and I think that one does go to the graveyard, not exile.
It does indeed. Looks like Expressive Iteration in the hand, so that'll hit the stack. Looking to find another land, most likely. Add another chip sword to the hand.
No.
Don't think there was a land there, though. Counterspell, Unholy Heat, and a third card.
Only Unholy Heat being the only 1-drop.
Emperor of Bones, the other one. So not going to get full value out of this Expressive Iteration.
Yeah, so what's he? So he does take the Emperor of Bones, exiles the Unholy Heat from the deck. Very much a downgraded Expressive Iteration there.
Yeah, anticipate, really.
Yeah.
Not what you're looking for in
Sorcery
Highlander.
Speed.
Sorcery Speed, anticipate. Not quite up to snuff. But perhaps James's hand then lacking a proactive threat for that turn.
Mm-hmm. And there's a cutter. Getting Spell Pierced.
Oof, there's a nice Spell Pierce there. Timely.
One way to deal with that card. Counter on the heckin' stack.
Absolutely. Preordain sees Dismember, I believe, and then Shieldred. So we're going to keep both of those on top. Quick top from Matthew Giudes. He knows what's good here. Baleful Strix. We've seen this one be good.
Mm-hmm.
That one a good one to get down before Shieldred. And we will see Emperor of Bones instead this turn, but no 4th land, perhaps? Gonna exile Cling to Dust.
Yep, get it out of here.
4th land is there. That'll come in untapped. And now the Baleful Strix will join the party.
Drawing a Fatal Push for turn. So there is a chance this Shieldred might not live for very long. And Bauble at oneself. Doing the Bauble trick is interesting when you're going to tap crack the fetch land right away anyway. Although he's decided to interact this turn and not tap out for the Sheoldred.
So dismember there taking care of Emperor of Bones, which is a very powerful threat in these matchups. We've seen it get back even just Baleful Strix. In previous rounds, we've seen it get back even better cards, threatening to get back things like Palace Jailer.
Worth noting, Matthew Giudes did want to draw that card. He did not crack his fetch land before drawing off the ball.
So the hand now looks like I can see a Brainstorm, a Counterspell, a Sheoldred, one other card as well. So some goodies for sure. Ledger Shredder, a really nice threat, has flying. And again, leaning into that double spelling that these Grixis decks always want to do. They want to be efficient, cast their spells in a timely manner. Shredder's still on the stack. We're going to get a Brainstorm from Matthew Giudes, dig a little bit deeper, fix his hand a little bit, improve it even more, and then have a think about whether we want to let this Shredder resolve, potentially.
Yeah.
A couple lands going back. Still has the fetch land in play for that perfect Brainstorm.
There we go. Crack a beautiful Flooded Strand to find...
A less beautiful Underground Sea,
yeah,
perhaps?
Underground Sea.
Something like that.
Whiteboard is yucky.
Come on, get the glitter out.
Yeah. Tapping out Counterspell with the Ledger Shredder on the stack. And then nothing else for JLS. Maybe representing a Counterspell of its own. Some sort of interaction.
Is this the turn as Matthew that you think it's time to slam this Sheoldred?
Yeah, maybe. That 2 mana untapped is very scary. You could see
Looks like instead it'll be Inquisition of Kozilek to lead off, trying to perhaps clear a path for Sheoldred.
Ooh.
Deadpool, Dismember, Fatal Push. Plenty of answers to Sheoldred, in fact.
Yeah, but no revolt. So Dismember is the only thing where you just get to point and click, kill a Sheoldred.
Well,
Deadpool?
I would argue Deadpool is point and click.
Deadpool is a very neat answer to Sheoldred. All of a sudden...
That's a low damage to take from the Sheoldred trigger and the Deadpool trigger.
Yeah, that's 5 a turn.
Unfortunately, Inquisition of Kozilek not able to take Deadpool.
Yeah.
But Matthew will take Dismember. If he has another black land, no, cannot follow up.
So this Deadpool, really good, maybe in 3 or so turns with a Resolve Sheoldred. Matthew, just not resolving a Sheoldred at the moment.
Oh boy, Barrow Goyf, that is a big threat. A very good draw from James Larsen-Scott.
Yeah.
Suspect that would have been the take from Matthew if he'd had the option.
Yeah. Can't Inquisition the top of the deck.
Not yet, just wait till they print a discard spell that gets to look at the top of the deck as well.
Yeah. You can sort of rig the draws of the deck, well, with a Jason the Mind Sculptor, but also with Mishra's Bauble and Thought Scour.
True, yeah. A little bit of extra information. We did see that in game 1. We saw Matthew Giudes take a look at the top of James's deck, see that he was about to draw the second lane he needed, and opt to not take a Brainstorm.
Actually, one way you can interact with the top of the deck is with a Lantern of Insight and perhaps a Codex Shredder, which we haven't seen anyone try and do in Highlander.
Thank goodness that's not playable in Highlander.
Yeah, it's close though. With Urza Saga, that's a tutor for a lot of your things. I'm just saying, folks, as we see...
Murktide Regent going to come down.
Yeah.
There'll be an 8/8 Murktide Regent.
Big one.
So Deadpool, not a great answer to that. Fatal Push can't touch it. Baleful Strix, though,
Yeah.
pretty nice into Murktide Regent.
Deadpool can take away its flying and still leave the Deadpool text on it.
Yeah, and then you just have an 8/8 to deal with.
Yeah. Not super hard.
But on James' side, a pair of Death Touches. So at the moment, not too worried.
But it's worth knowing the JLS does not know about the Sheoldred in Matthew Giudes' hand. So he might just want to be mana efficient, cast his Deadpool, but opting to just attack for now.
Start with the attack and very quick block there, I believe.
Yeah, he was more than happy just working out how big this Lurgoyf is.
See how much life.
It's probably huge. It is always going to at least trade because the Baragoyf is Death Touch.
Mystic Sanctuary to put Expressive Iteration back on top. That is a nice one.
JLS being disciplined, not playing the Deadpool trading card.
Ooh, Pyroblast, a nice answer there. You know how we talked about stock up is sort of like Dig Through Time's little brother?
Yeah.
Does that make Expressive Iteration the youngest brother?
Yeah. Ooh. Maybe a step brother.
A step brother, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
like a brother, but like looks very different. So this Deadpool now, the known information of this Deadpool has meant that Matthew Giudes has been unable to cast a Sheldred. We haven't seen Deadpool hit play, but we're still seeing its power.
Yeah, absolutely. Influencing the game from the hand, in fact. And James continues to draw very powerful threats, putting Matthew under pressure. Because that is the thing. Matthew has the ability to hold off on this Sheldred. Because Powerful Strix
Yeah, not a lot of pressure.
just not going to end the game anytime soon. So he's happy to sit here, wait to try and draw an answer to the Deadpool before committing his Sheldred. But if James is going to continue to draw bangers like this,
Yeah.
very nice here as well. Tassica with the mana up to get an activation. So even if it's removed, we'll get a 2-for-1 out of that.
Yeah, getting an extra card here is huge because they're sort of still jockeying for position. Matthew Giudes has to act. And then for JLS to get a card, even if it's the worst card in his graveyard, getting a card, pretty handy here.
Ragavan getting spelled away there. Of course, the Delve on Tassica, very nice to help you sort of sculpt that graveyard. You just take the bad cards out. We see Expressive Iteration sitting on top. I suspect that won't be the one that gets given back to him. In the end step here, going to mill 2, a land, a ponder.
Yeah, what do you want to give
so
me?
Baragoyf, ponder, or Expressive Iteration.
Yeah, give you the ponder.
James sort of preemptively puts the ponder in his hand, recognizing that that's almost certainly the one Matthew's going to give him, and he does oblige and give him back that ponder.
So this will be really interesting to see if JLS casts a Deadpool trading card here.
Baragoyf certainly
There
is
we go.
a very tempting card there.
It does mean the Deadpool is huge. But it means that, and Sheldred is the sort of card that Matthew Giudes can resolve to get back in this game.
Getting an update as well there. Starting to pressure here as well as the leftovers are 22-7. Matthew falling down to 7. This Powerful Strix is actually starting to put together some pressure. Down to 6 now with this attack, potentially.
Ooh.
Mental misstep taking care of Ponder. So although we talked about, not that much pressure from the Powerful Strix, it is getting the job done between the fetch lands, some interactive spells, a Dismember cast earlier, and now 3 damage a turn from this Deadpool.
Yeah.
I believe Matthew down to 3.
So this down to 3. JLS did not want to attack with the Tassiga that turn, give Matthew Giudes an easy block.
Yeah, correct. And doesn't want to let the Deadpooled Baragoyf easily get off the field. Wants to make him spend the 3 mana, let me draw a card.
Not getting out of it that easy, buddy.
Ooh.
This is actually a huge turn for Giudes, as he's going to get a Baragoyf. That has lifelink. That's going to also trigger if there's no blocks from JLS, which I think there might not be any blocks. Life totals on the screen does not represent the board state. We're just having a little trouble with that at the moment.
So 5 power there. So Matthew goes all the way back up to 8. We saw JLS right down there.
And it is among the milled cards with that one.
Yep, JLS taking 5 there, down to 17, I believe. We can see written down on the pad. A miss there, unfortunately, it looks like. Didn't mill any creatures.
No, that was a Ledger Shredder.
Oh, there was a Ledger Shredder. Excellent. That's a very powerful card as well. So a good draw there, and adds to the board now. Has that Emperor of Bones as well to try and block with.
Now this Deadpool still having an effect on the board state, but it's actually gotten worse now that it has resolved. This is now all it's doing. It's still really good, obviously, but now Matthew's cards are sort of unlocked.
Absolutely.
But
the Fatal Push still sitting in the hand, though, threatening to answer the Sheldred very efficiently. So we see Matthew continue to hold on to it.
We could see it answer the Emperor of Bones this turn. Carpet of Flowers has got to be tempting, but yeah, it's sort of like a free. That's going to produce a lot of mana. Very powerful in this matchup.
Yeah, so still in the first main phase. So JLS can move to his second main phase, get the mana back.
As we see an attack, a huge attack here, as the 0-1 Baragoyf dies, JLS will gain a bunch of life from this dead pool. As I was saying, how air quotes bad, how much worse it's gotten now it's in the play, but it's still really good.
Hate to have a 4-mana 5/3 lifelinker that also neuters one of my opponent's creatures.
Post-combat, trick a couple of flowers, cast Lauren Reveal, gets met with a Pyroblast, so no 3 cards for you.
We've also got word that from on the side table, one of James's teammates has just won as well. So his team up 1-0. James looking to close this game out and win the match for them.
Yeah. Hopefully we see it.
So Giudes going to need a big draw here. We know he has the Shieldred in hand, and the Fatal Push has now been used. So he can put that in play, potentially start to stabilize this board, but a lot of pressure in play. Really needs to try and remove that Deadpool at the moment.
Yeah. So Deadpool is still a Barragoyf?
Ledger Shredder into Shieldred, so he gets to draw, puts counter on. Gives you a second blocker there to block the Deadpool, while the Shieldred has a very good block on the Tasiga. James also no cards in hand, so both players drawing off the top of their deck now.
Yeah, so
James will go down to 20 on the draw. Looks like drew a Deathrite Shaman. Potentially a powerful one with Giudes all the way down to 2, I believe.
And just trying to work out from the life totals, it looks like Giudes is on, I believe, 6, 5?
No, I believe that is a 2. Went down to 3, and then one more. Went down to 3 on the attacks last turn. One more from the fetch line down to 2.
Okay. And that is going to be it for JLS. Congratulations to him and Team Tramstop.
I believe it might be JLS's teammate as well. Other teammate also winning, so they take that match as well.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So,
Yep. Team Tramstop.
Melbourne victorious, baby.
Absolutely. That's the takeaway from that is Melbourne Magic.
What up?
Absolutely.
What up?
Welcome back to the booth here. Ian, Alec,
Hello.
2 rounds down. 5 more to go. It's another big day of Magic. And we promise there are decks out there other than Grixis.
Yeah.
It's
But,
not just Grixis.
just not in that matchup.
But we want to see Deadpool, you know? Our favorite MCU hero. Love to see Universes Beyond.
That was really interesting in that game, for sure.
And very interesting
very
to see the amount of time it sat face up in James's hand, clearly influencing the game.
Yeah,
The
it
Shieldred
changed the whole game. If that was a different 4-mana, very powerful threat, it would have not been nearly as powerful as that one.
Very cool to see new cards taking over, just having an impact in this format. Get to see everything all the way from original dual lands all the way up to Deadpool.
The newest cards there. I'm just waving to people off camera and I'm realizing I'm on the screen. I apologize.
Absolutely. It's a busy day here. Lots of players around, lots of people wandering around as the round comes down towards its end.
Yeah.
It's been good. Good Magic. More good Magic to come.
Very tight. 2 Pro Tour competitors battling off.
Absolutely.
More or less the exact same 75, only a fetch land is the change. They always love us talking about how it's a 74-card mirror. I don't really...
What do you think there? Was it the Arid Mesa? That was what cost Matthew that match?
Yeah, that's it. It was a suboptimal fetch land.
Yeah.
So what, is JLS not playing that fetch land?
A different fetch land, I believe. Different red fetch land.
But aren't they playing all of the fetch lands?
I don't have an answer for you. All I know is that there was an Arid Mesa on Matthew's deck, and I didn't have time to look at JLS's deck. I was too enthralled by the fantastic match that was going on down in the feature match area there.
Yeah, I'm confused.
That's why we're up here and not down there playing the matches.
Yeah.
For now, that's going to be all from us. Stick around. We'll be back soon with round number 3.
Yeah. That's it from us in the booth, though. You'll be met with Sam Loy and Russell Cutting.
Yep, they'll
if
be
I'm
back.
not mistaken.
Sam with a beautiful shirt. So look forward to seeing that.
Yeah,
It's going to be really nice. Looking forward to that. Having them back in the booth as well. Seeing more Magic all throughout the rest of the day.
But don't go anywhere. More to come.